Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Wolker, and we're going to be jumping into the next part of the Basic Arcana Spotlight series today. By all rights, you've already seen the title, you know what it's going to be. We're looking at Bouncing Blaze today. It's a personal favorite of a lot of people's, and definitely one of mine. Before we jump into that, though, let's go ahead and generate which soundtrack we're doing. We've got the usual 1 through 3. So, what's it going to be? Classic, jazz, or piano? Let's hit the button. Jazz. Alright. So let's go ahead and get that set up. Alright, apologies for there being no video yesterday. After I got back from training, I had some other details and things that I needed to get into. So, again, sorry about that. So, let's go ahead and get ourselves set up with the usual. I'll just go grab Bouncing Blaze and we'll start talking about it. Alright, so what is Bouncing Blaze? It is a projectile-based basic that just launches a bouncing ball of magma. Now, because of what it is and the motion that it takes, I just call it the Mario Fireball. Now, what I would really like to see, and what I'm hoping someone does, is replace the generic burn burst sound effect with the literal sound of Mario using a fireball with the fire flower. That is what I would love to see for this. Now, one of the downsides I'm going to start with the downsides because, frankly, the list is kind of short. So downside number 1, one tap of the button equals 1 fireball, so you can't just hold it down, you have to mash. Fortunately, it doesn't take a lot of mashing to get to your 3 hits, so there's that. Second thing is that even though you got kind of a big fireball, your hitbox is a little narrow. So as you can see, the difference between a hit and a miss is just that little millimeter. So that's about all I've got, because from there on it's all upside. So as you can see, there aren't a lot. It isn't much of a frame delay between hitting the button and getting a fireball. Like, it happens pretty quick. Also, this particular Arcana looks pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Like, I just love the way that the bouncing balls of flame look. For those of you wondering what I'm drinking, it's Sierra Mist Zero Sugar. I, as you well know, am diabetic, and outside of punishing my body with the occasional package of Mike and Ike's, try to keep to a kind of low-carb lifestyle. Some days are more successful than others in that regard. But anyway, back to Bouncing Blaze. So as you can see, the fireball gets a nice long range. Yeah, and that's all active hitbox, baby. Like, there's not a point like, oh, if they touch the fireball while it's bouncing, then they get a free pass. No, if they get hit at any point during that, they're taking damage. So you've got range, and with each fireball doing 12 damage, you've got a decent amount of power as well. Keep in mind, this is with no damage improvements. I know it says increasing damage, but it's only for a short while, and it's after you take damage, so right now my damage add is 0. Now what that means is that Bouncing Blaze is actually really good for power-based builds, because with each fireball doing 12, you can actually get pretty decent gains even off of just a small amount of damage up. and obviously on criticals we're doing an extra 50% damage. So now the question is, what changes when the fireball is enhanced? Well, that's where things get really good. The damage doesn't get any better, but look at that. Yeah, nothing changes. The knockback is the same, the range is the same, fireballs look the same, but they pierce. And that would be the other, like, actual bad thing, is that it doesn't work very well for crowd control until you upgrade it. Then it just becomes phenomenal. Because now you've got all of that forward range and a decent amount of knockback to play keep away with. Like definitely this is one of the most primary targets that you should take when trying to upgrade your starting Arcana. You want this to be upgraded fast. Because especially on the later floors, only being able to hit one enemy at a time with that knockback, it can be a little damaging to your case. So you want that knockback to be coming in pretty quick. Candies. I still kind of recommend sticking with the bubblegum or the cinnamon hots. This is one of the ones where you can get the citrus sweets to work well enough. And I'm going to try to show you what I mean when I say well enough here, even though it doesn't want to go. So as you can see, the idea of the knockback on the ball lightning from Cabby's citrus sweets is extreme. Like, it's fine if you're just spamming a basic because you want to knock an enemy into a pit, but do you really want to be starting with Cabby's citrus sweets just for that? Now, again, you could just be using that to push an enemy into a wall so you can keep comboing, but at that point, you better have the rest of the room under control. So, pretty much in all cases, I recommend any of the candies before the citrus sweets. Like, at this point forward, there's no point in talking about the candies, because unless they do something to reduce the knockback of specifically the ball lightning from Cabby's citrus sweets, then I'm not going to have anything different to say. Now, on the normal ball lightning, yeah, have a knockback fest. Make it work, but for this one, the knockback really needs to be lesser so that it can actually combo effectively. Because otherwise, it's just throwing enemies way out of your range, and it's just no good. Sidewinder's Badge. So this takes your damage from 36 to 45, essentially, because now you're getting +3 on each fireball. +4 with a critical hit, but yeah. Okay, too many critical hits. Let's back it up. There you go. Now, there have been other Arcana that have had greater damage with the Sidewinder's Badge, but again, considering that you actually get pretty decent gains out of damage bonuses, and just the sheer amount of range you have with the Bouncing Blaze, that 45 damage being able to extend that far is really nice. So this is another one where Sidewinder's Badge comes highly recommended. Then another one that I would actually recommend with the fireballs is Combo Gloves. Because normally you can only throw 3 fireballs. With this, you can throw 4 at once, but with a caveat. Because the last fireball is supposed to have a little bit more of end lag because it's supposed to be the last fireball, that means that the 4th fireball has to come after that end lag. So it can be a little iffy in some situations. Now, the evening gloves let you just hold down the button and to make it 20% faster. Like, that might actually come more recommended than the combo gloves. But again, that's kind of niche, and it's not like you're going to be suffering an incredible amount having to do the light amount of mashing that it requires to get all 3 fireballs out. But what makes it good is the idea that they come out 20% faster. I mean, that's only cutting out, say, 2, maybe 3 frames of frame data, but it makes a big difference, especially when sometimes the difference between taking a hit and being safe is maybe 1 or 2 frames. So it's very helpful. So, I think that's about all I've got. I also like the idea of taking something that allows your projectiles to destroy other enemy projectiles. Because what's going to happen is once your fireballs can pierce, then they're just going to storm through the other enemy projectiles. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because I could be very wrong about that. I haven't had that combination happen to me in a long time, so there's a good chance that I could be wrong about that. Now, because we are working with a build that's going to reward us for having more power, I'm going to take the Venture Robe. And because the Venture Robe is just... it's phenomenal at working with extra power builds, but it also comes with the downside of it's just a little bit on the fragile side. So forgive me if I end up taking the Chaotic Rift. I know it's a little cheap because it's so powerful. Trust me, it's the right move. All right. And with the 10% damage bonus, we're now hitting 14s. Yeah, every little bit just adds on, and it's beautiful. Alright, so as far as what signature we're going to be taking, there we go. I think I'm going to go with Obsidian Cascade, and in case you're wondering what Obsidian Cascade looks like when it's not being added onto, it's 15s. So, if you ask me, very good. But I may also want to go a different route with it. Because the Balestra also gets nice gains for damage ups. And it's a bit more useful in crowd control scenarios. So I think I might just stick with that. Then I'm going to take something for crowd control purposes. And you know what? I keep talking about it, I never use it. We're taking Gale Force alignment. Now, that's not going to get us a lot of gains when it comes to strength, but it's going to make it easier to handle everything else. And you know what? Actually, I have a quick look here. Is there a way to get crowd control without sacrificing a little bit of power? And the honest answer to that is, depends. I could take Bouncing Surge, I could take Bouncing Bubble, I could take Dynamic Disarray. Spark Array is really good for crowd control. Like, all I'm saying is you've got options. Twin Turbines is pretty good for crowd control. Matter of fact, I think I might just go that route. There we go, so now we've got ourselves the Delta Force trio again. Now, what relic do I bring with us? Obviously, this is the part where I'm putting the build together. Nah, really, Dark Sage? You don't say! But what do I take with me? Now, the obvious choice would be to take, like, Sidewinder's Badge or Claws of Tomo. Even Evening Gloves would be a great place to start. I'm going to forego all of those because, again, I'm trying to not show you what it looks like at its peak. I'm trying to show you what it looks like when it's just good. And then you can take it to the peak from there. So I think I'm actually going to take the Analytical Monocle. That actually sounds like a stupid idea now that I think about it. Let's take something a little bit more defensive. Let's take the Mirror Shield. That'll make it harder for enemies to snipe me, and you know what? I'm all for that. Yeah, make it harder for those bastards to snipe me. So, where to start? I think, actually, I'm going to start at Atlas this time. I was thinking about that too, but... Actually, no, the Thundering Keep is the better idea. And Shu at the end, just to really pound home the idea that I should be feeling stressed out. Am I going to act on that? No, we're gonna try our best to be... We're gonna try our best to be level-headed. Okay, so if we have extra money after we visit Iris, then I wouldn't mind getting the Megalodon Tooth, and Mercury Sandals would just be improving something that's already in a good position. So take that for what it's worth. There we go. And Mirror Shield's already doing what it's supposed to do. I love it. Wouldn't it be nice if other things did what they were supposed to do? Like, you know, the Activision Blizzard harassment team making sure people didn't get harassed. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Unfortunately, you don't always get what you pay for in that regard. Which is why I always tell people, be careful where you spend your money. So you can already see that the Bouncing Blaze is doing a great job of playing keep away with these monsters. It's not even entirely incapable of... Grab that. Everything else is a little iffy. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I actually like Water Prison, and I do like Rushing Typhoon. I just don't think it's necessarily right for this run, because it's going to get resisted by both Zeal and Shu, so it just seems like that's just a bad idea. That's failure waiting to happen. And that is just going to make it harder on me in the long run. So, no, we're not taking that. There we go. Beautiful. Now, until you get the piercing property, you're gonna notice that big barrels will still stop your Mario fireballs. But just the overall amount of crowd control you have in general is what's going to test you in that particular room. Did we get a good freebie? Kind of, not really. Just gonna let that be. But of course, it's still worth breaking Taffy the Pinata, because our boy Taffy gets us extra money when we break him now. Oh, that's the next basic we're going to talk about, and I've got a lot of things to say about Fiery Yo-Yo, but we'll get there. In the meantime, let's grab that and that, because I like being able to move uncomfortably fast. Got up buttoned again. Alright, and onwards. No reason to hang around here, we've done all the cool things. Onwards and upwards to better things. More electric enemies. See, this is what I mean by it's hard for it to do crowd control until you get the upgrade. Because it only hits one enemy at a time. But once we get this bad boy upgraded, it's easily one of the best basics in the game. Now, there may be some disagreement on that, as I expect there to be. And in that case, you know, just do the usual. Have a polite conversation about it and see what everyone thinks. Because I don't mind having a conversation about what you guys think is good and bad. I mean, I may disagree with you, but I mean, that's also the nature of conversations. You don't expect everyone to just automatically agree with you when you make a point. You gotta, you know, present your case. Make a case using evidence and facts. Alright, I saw Anders over here, and I know one of the things he had was the Idealist Veneer. I don't care about that. Matter of fact, much of this doesn't really look like it's going to be that helpful. And even the Wallet of Vigor is a little iffy, just because of the idea that I have the Venture Robe. So we may very well just be ignoring that. And I'm also making a pretty good case for, hey, don't just throw out your signature as soon as you get it. You might want to hold on to that and use it someplace a little bit more relevant. Alright, so that's Nocturne. We might be able to get ourselves a decent spread of Arcana if things line up properly. Oh wait, I already got the upgrade on the previous floor. Alright, well, you know what? What we're going to end up doing then is just purchasing an extra. Owie. That's what I get for being dumb. Alright, oh, there's Bouncing Blaze upgrade. Alright, we're set for that. we'll get to see the difference in how Bouncing Blaze works next time we get into combat. Which should be fairly soon, but first, let's go ahead and give Nocturne Arc Sphere and see what we can get in return. Alright, so Fire and Wind. We've got some awful choices here. I'll take those, but there's a good chance that I may want to replace something in the near future. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that August Charge is bad, but just speaking on the elements in general, it could definitely be better. It'll be good against the Twins, though. And we'll grab that just so that we can look ridiculous. Basically what I'm saying is if it suits my agenda, I will easily replace these two Arcana. And this is speaking as someone who likes August Charge, like, a lot. Alright, you've got to stop interrupting my spells, you jackass. No, we're not taking that. By the way, yes, I apologize for the frequent shifting in my chair. For what it's worth, I've been sitting in a chair most of the day, so just kind of trying to make sure that my ass doesn't hurt. We have here. Oddly, I don't like any of these spells either. But I might come back for Ice Leaves. I might. It'll depend on what's on what I can spend my money on in other parts of the world. Alright, you see how now the fireballs are piercing? They're just acting that much better for everything that we're doing. Okay, well, I'm taking that. There's no reason not to take it. You can't convince me that it's not a good idea. So now that the fireballs can pierce, they can do so much more in crowd control. We now have the ultimate keep-away tool here. Yeah, those archers that think they're cool because they've got a goddamn backstep, you tell them to eat your ass. You've got Mario fireballs. Oh, whoa, hey, went too far. Yeah, when you have the upgraded Mario Fireballs, you'll almost barely need to cast any other spells just because you've got crowd control handled with the one spell. All you have to do is make sure your enemies step into the line you want them to step in, and you've got this handled. I feel like I barely need to do anything else. Yeah, you've got range and multiple target situations handles. I'm a little worried about spending 100 gold on that. So let's wait. Let's come back here. What else were we looking at? The cotton candy. Why not? Now let's go back to Iris. Was there anything here that we were looking at? Kind of. The Ice Seekers. Does that... I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that we actually want the robe upgrade because that's going to work for everything else. Problem is, it leaves us in a precarious spot as far as the mini-boss is concerned. So now we just need to play particularly well and not make really bad mistakes. You know, like that. Fairy. Well, well, my friends. Darksage, what about the health potion? Who needs health potions? You're gonna regret saying that, maybe. You're gonna die to something stupid now that you've said that, you know that, right? Well, I mean, don't pray for me to fail or something. There you go. See, if I had a close range basic, that archer might have just shot me. I mean, not likely, because I could have ducked behind the wall and been like, haha, cover mechanics, bitch. Now remember, everyone, that's why we hate those nitroglycerin barrels. And yep, that's really all it takes to clear most rooms is just launch fireballs into the room. And you picked up and are appropriately using the fire flower. You're already doing good. And that's why we took the token of health. The catalytic tonic sucks, but you know what? I'm not going to fault Dr. Song. She's doing her best. Okay, I'm not even going to look at what Iris has for sale. We're just adopting the second fairy. Because in this case, I'm not purchasing a relic, I'm saving a life. And I want you to remember that every time you've passed up a fairy in the shop, you are consigning them to their fate, and for all you know, they could be meeting with a horrible fate. How can you live with yourself? Okay, well, this just went from an episode of Wizard of Legend to a PSA on adopting fairies. But you see, just like you would adopt a cat in order to keep it out of the shelter system, that's the same reason why you should adopt a fairy, okay? It's that important. Humans were mischievous and got into trouble, and so do cats. Have we forgotten? Have we forgotten what the common house cat is like? There's a reason why they're called nature's divas, you know. They just don't listen. They don't give a shit. Also, that was an example of a situation where I needed a quick reaction. As you can see, the fireballs come out fast enough that they act as a fine fast react. Oh, pardon me. There we go. Ooh! That is a lovely defensive relic, but can I get some damage up now? I need DPS improvements. Damn it. That's right, smash that wall, girl. I joke, but honestly, she probably couldn't break down. Owie. There we go. I mean, it's nice, but much of what I have happens at range. I don't know, I'll pick it up and probably promptly not use it. Just being honest. Fart. Dark Sage, are you just saying random words again? Porcupine, I mean, no. Go away. Okay, admittedly, having the extra shielding from Aja's charge is pretty nice. I shouldn't have been so quick to be like, I'm just gonna dismiss this, fuck it, who even cares? Don't you just love it? But I mean, you can now clearly see what kind of crowd control you're working with when you're using Bouncing Blaze upgraded. So, anyone who is on the fence about Bouncing Blaze, or maybe you're new to the game and you just unlocked it, and you're not sure whether or not it's worth using, I am assuring you right now, it is going to be one of your favorites. Between the range and crowd control and the coverage and the admittedly only slightly above average damage, you'll like it, trust me. Okay, so how come when I asked for damage ups, I got two of the most unreliable ones? Whatever, I'll probably end up buying the Sinister Ledger anyway. Or why don't we just buy it now? I buy it infrequently, so let's actually do it this time. And, I complain about not getting damage ups, but then when the game gives them to me, it's like, well, how's it gonna look if I just don't take them? Like, even if it is kind of unreliable damage ups, I can at least use them for what they're worth. That having been said, guess where the Sinister Ledger is going if I find it again? adorable mimic. I mean, into your pocket, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna put it in my pocket. No, I'm putting the sinister. I'm putting the sinister ledger exactly where Bobby Kotick put his integrity. Now, if you guys think I'm spending too much time making fun of Activision Blizzard, clearly you have no idea how much I hated them before the state of California decided to sue them. Actually, not even the entire state of California, it's the DFEH. But no, I already had a very hateful relationship with Activision Blizzard. Oh, by the way, I should point out that because Bouncing Blaze bounces off the ground, if your fireball on its first bounce hits a hit, it just goes away. It needs to bounce off the ground to have that second bounce in extended range. So that's actually another negative side of Bouncing Blaze, but you know, it's one that you'd be forgiven for either not knowing about or not caring, because honestly it's such a minor thing in most cases that it's really almost not worth bringing up. But it is a thing, and you know, facts. You just gotta work with facts. I would not be doing my job properly if it did not present you with facts. I mean, none of this is useful. Well, that's not true. Alchemist Stone is useful, just not really at this point in the game. Still, I will pick it up. Though I don't know how the extra money is going to benefit me. Not gonna lie. Bouncing Blaze! I love Bouncing Blaze so much. And think about this, I haven't even talked about Fiery Yo-Yo yet. So if I love Bouncing Blaze as much as I do, how much more must I love Fiery Yo-Yo? And it's like I said when I first started the review of the Fire Elemental basics, they are generally pretty strong. Like, they're very good basics. They really are. Yay, I'm smart! Okay, that was overdoing it. Alright, Sinister Ledger's doing okay so far. Guess I can't complain too much. By the way, if there are any of you out there who have just started the game, let me know how you're doing with it. Are you liking the game so far? Is it everything you hoped for? Were you hoping for more of a narrative? Because I know that's one thing that, admittedly, I was kind of looking for was for more of a narrative, but Yeah, I'm smart again. Alright. Oh, hello. Definitely want that. Okay, and you know what? I want that too. Alright, well, you know what? I asked for items that were going to improve my DPS, and I got them. Oh, and there's another one. But, is it worth taking considering the robe I'm wearing? I am going to choose to err on the side of safety. I am an aggressive player, but I am not stupid enough to think that I need no defense. We've heard of the concept of the glass cannon, but if I actually pick up the glass cannon, I will go from being a glass cannon to being a pewter nuke. Nice, there are things here I like, but more or less okay with what I have. Plus, I want to build up a little bit more money for that. There we go. Looking solid. Snake. You know, like Solid Snake. Protagonist from Metal Gear Solid. I'll see myself out now. Oh, that was a bad idea. That's going to take away pretty much all of the bonus from my Sinister Ledger. And I was right. And it did. It was pretty much all the bonus that I thought I owned just whew, off into the wind. Like a bad Taco Bell fart. Gone to the wind. There, looking good. That dagger's more than making up for, my dumb ass. Alright, let's buy that. Buy that. And yeah, we're pretty solid. Let's just go. But hopefully you guys are starting to understand now why I was having problems with some of the other Arcanas that I've been reviewing. It's mostly because I get spoiled by long range options. Which, to be fair, in this game, range plays a huge part in your success. Just keeps hammering him even while he's just trying to talk. Hey, look at that. There are things you can do when you have a good ranged attack that you can't do at any other time. Owie. Hey, and with all that range, you see the sort of things that I was doing. You can whiff punish some things that you would not be able to whiff punish if you had a close range Arcana. Like, you can't attack Usura through his shock nova with the ice daggers. That's unheard of. With bouncing blaze, that's a fucking Tuesday. So, there you go. That is the lowdown on Bouncing Blaze, and there is so much work you can get done when you have that much range on a basic. It's incredible, and honestly, if you guys are having a hard time clearing the game for your first time, or if you've just fallen into a slump and you're just having a hard time clearing it, pick up Bouncing Blaze. If that doesn't help your game, honestly, I'm not really entirely sure what will, aside from, practice. So, there you go. That's what I got, so thank you guys very much for watching. Of course, Fiery Yo-Yo is up next, and then it's on to the Chaos element. I guess it's not really an element, it's more of a state of being, but thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate your continued support. Drop me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, let me know how you're doing, and by all means, feel free to add on whatever you want. We can have a conversation about it and just enjoy ourselves, but I'm rambling at this point, so again, thank you for spending some of your free time with me, and I am out. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.